everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Here to Help Cleaning. I am the owner of Here to Help Cleaning. My name is Kaylee Hirth. And if you're new to my channel, this is a channel based on cleaning tips, tricks, hacks, what to do, what not to do, what to use, what not to use. And they are tried and true methods. Not tried and true methods that work. I love Pinterest just as much as the next person does, but sometimes half the time you get on there, you think you're getting it right, and it's like Pinterest fails. I mean, if they have a post for Pinterest fails, you know that not every method is tried and true. Tried and true. Apparently that's what I'm rolling with today. So we'll just go with it. At any rate, I have a Facebook page. I need to put the link in the description. I also don't know how to say like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. I'm new to this. I'm new to YouTube. I'm new to videography. So I am going to try and get those eventually. But as of right now, if you could just share, subscribe, and like to follow our page so you can get cleaning tips and tricks. Little quick background on myself. I have been cleaning for near 6 years, 5.5 to 6 years now. And when I started, I didn't know what I was doing. And with tons of trial and error and research and just diving head in and figuring it out myself, I have kind of figured out what works and what doesn't work. I am by no means completely perfect. I humbly like to think that I do a good job, but knowing full well that I can too make mistakes. I'm only human. So without further ado, each week on my Facebook page, I ask the audience or my fans what they would like to see as far as cleaning goes. This week, when I asked what they would like to see, the most requested thing was ovens. How in the world do you begin to clean an oven? And what do you use? How do you use it? How long? What temperature? What do you follow it up with? And that's what I'm here to answer. Ovens are a beast. Ovens are no fun. They stink. They're messy. They're dirty. They're one of those things that you just don't think about cleaning. But for the maintenance and lifelong longevity, if that's even a word, real technical here, of your oven, you really sincerely need to clean it. Now, it depends on how much you bake or cook or use your oven based on how much you're going to have to clean it. I myself don't use my oven super duper often, so it's pretty clean. I was going to do a tutorial and show you how to clean your oven, but mine really doesn't need it, and I don't want to have to scrape or rub on it more than necessary. Now, if you are an avid baker, if you like to make a lot of casseroles or turkeys or whatever you like to do with your oven, I'm not here to judge, but you're probably going to have more messes. Things happen. They overheat, they overboil, they go over the sides. If you're like me, you cook it too long, stuff gets burned on. And when you burn stuff in that oven, it is nearly impossible to get it out. Now, if you have, I forgot the one name that it was called, but if you have an oven where the coils are on the bottom and you have a self-clean option on your oven, I wouldn't use it. Those tend to overheat really quickly. They tend to put a lot of smoke in the house, and they just really don't do the job. Newer ovens these days have kind of a steam clean option. They are pretty good. It just depends on what kind of mess that you have caked on in your oven. And if it's just super thick, super sludgy, unfortunately, the self-clean will do a little bit, but it's not going to take care of it altogether. So I'm going to give you 3 different options on ways to clean your oven. I'm going to give you what I use at my cleaning business because I have a timeline and time management I have to stick to, which is not very natural. It's stinky, fumey. The stuff that I use can burn your skin. And if you don't have a well-ventilated area, I don't recommend this way of doing it. However, since I do deep oven cleans myself, I can put some before and after somewhere in here if I can do that, of ovens I have cleaned, which is up beyond 50 at this point. This is the method that I use. will be method number 1 with oven cleaner. The stuff is pungent. It is dangerous. It's a harsh chemical, but it works. And then unfortunately, it works really quickly. Now for my other method, it's a more natural method. It will also get your oven clean, but it takes more work and it takes time. And then the third method is kind of just, if you don't want to use method 1 or 2 and you don't want to go out and buy these extra things, I can just kind of give you an idea as to what kind of cleaners to use. You're going to want to use a suffragant and an enzymatic cleaner for it. And I'll kind of go from there. So without further ado, I will share with you method number 1. You should probably grab a pen and pencil and a piece of paper and write these down. Now, I might be a little sporadic with it, but I will try and share with you what I do. There's 2 different kind of oven cleans. You have general oven cleaning, which I consider stovetop, outside of the oven and the inside of the oven, including the racks. Now, an oven deep clean it is option number 2. If you haven't pulled your oven out in a while, sister, brother, you probably should. I have found so many things behind ovens. I've found fidget spinners, dead mice, dog food, you name it, I found it. I have found sentimental things that got lost behind the oven. I found somebody's wedding ring one time. So sometimes it's good to pull the oven out, unplug, don't unplug the gas part of it if you have a gas oven. But if you have an electric oven, you can, or you know what I mean, like a gas stovetop, you just unplug it from the wall so you can pull it out more. Now with a general oven deep clean and this method, it goes the same for the deep clean all around oven clean, if that makes any sense. That was so eloquent. I'm not going to edit that though, because this is unfiltered. So what I use for an oven deep clean, you are going to need the following items. Write these down. You are going to need a heavy degreaser type of cleaner. I use Melaleuca. Wow. I use Melaleuca. I use Melamagic with Melaleuca, and it's a heavy degreaser. It's going to be the cleaner that you follow up after you use the oven cleaner. So you're going to need a degreasing type of cleaner, whether it be store-bought. You can get, I know there's so many different brands, but it will say degreaser on it. You're going to want to use that. It's a suffragant cleaner, and it helps just get the extra goop off because oven crud is like sludge. What you're going to need, number 2, I would get old towels, old rags, old something you don't care about, t-shirts, and you're going to want to stick it underneath the oven door, right below the drawer, because when you pull that bad boy down and you start scrubbing, sludge will fall between the door and the oven and it'll land on your floor, and you don't want it on your floor. So please get an old towel. So we've got degreaser, old towel. Third and most important element is oven cleaner. This stuff is nasty. It is a heavy duty oven cleaner. It's got, look at all the warnings. It's nasty. It will choke you out. Have the vent going, have your windows open, and please, for the love of everything awesome, wear gloves and wear safety goggles. I'm not even kidding. Or if you're not going to wear safety goggles, at least not have your eyes directed at the oven. This stuff is awful. It will choke you out, but it works. So this is the most important part of the formula for both the general and the deep clean on your oven. Now, I get this from Family Dollar. This is the knockoff or the generic. The actual name brand stuff is called Off. They have a fume-free can of this. It's more expensive, but it is not near as potent fume-wise as the yellow one. So if you want the Off fume-free kind, I have to keep my overhead low, so I obviously have to buy the cheaper stuff. But if you want the fume-free, it's in a blue bottle and it'll say fume-free oven cleaner. I would recommend using that. Last but not least, you're going to need either stainless steel scrubber like you can use on your dishes. I personally buy this little, I should have brought it in. It's a little plastic handle on a copper scrubber. Copper, I feel, is more giving and it's softer than your stainless steel, so it's not going to be as abrasive. However, you're going to need some abrasion to get some of this stuff off. You can use a rough edge side of a sponge. You can use a scrub brush. You can use, I just like the stainless steel scrubber or the copper scrubber, and you can also get that at Family Dollar for $1. And last but not least, you are going to want something for detailing. I use either A, a toothbrush, B, a butter knife, or C, you can get some kind of, like if you want a toothpick and you just wrap a paper towel around it just to get in the crevices, that works. And then you're going to want glass cleaner. I like glass cleaner when I'm finished with every single step because it just makes it sparkle and it doesn't leave any smudges. So to begin the entire process, you are going to, with this process, number one, with the oven cleaner, you're going to set your oven to 200 degrees on bake. Once it reaches 200 degrees, you are going to turn that off and let your oven sit. I like to do it with the door open just because it cools off quicker, but I'm also on a time frame. If you just want to leave it, I would leave it for at least 10 to 15 minutes and then just check to see how hot it is. Please don't touch the inside of your oven or the door. That's just not a smart idea. However, you can kind of just hold your hand over the oven door and just kind of feel how hot it is. If it's still hot, let it sit. It needs to be a good warm temperature to where you still don't want to touch the actual inside surface of the oven. But when you spray this, you will know if it's too hot. So after you've let your oven sit, after you've turned it up to 200 and you canceled and let it sit and cool off, you are going to spray just a little area of your oven with this. Now it comes in one of those spray caps and you hold it about 6 to 8 inches away from where you're going to spray. Spray it on, and if it just evaporates right away or it just cooks and it doesn't leave a white foam, you're still too hot. However, if you spray it and there's a foam and it doesn't just like evaporate and smoke, you're ready to go. You're going to want to coat a thick layer of this. I almost go through a can and oven, depending on mess. If it's not messy, I might go through half a can. If it's messy, you're probably going to use your whole can. You're going to spray the sides of your oven where the grates sit, the back of the oven, the bottom of the oven, and the oven door. You're going to fold the oven door completely flat so it is horizontal with the ground where it naturally sits when it's open. And you are going to just coat it. And I totally forgot step number one. You're going to want to take your grates out before you do all of this. So please take your grates out before you spray it. So you've sprayed your oven. You're going to close the door and let it sit in there. Reason being that it has heat, and with the chemical reaction and the heat, it's working to break up those clumps of nastiness. You're going to let it sit for about another 10 minutes, letting it just do its job. In the meantime, having your windows open and your vent going or your fan, because ooh, good Lord, it's bad. After you've let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes, then you're going to open the door again and you're going to spray another coat. Not as thick, just to cover areas, as you will see, that kind of just start foaming downwards. After you spray your second coat, you're going to let it sit for another 5 minutes. Once you've done so, you're going to put your gloves on. You probably should have had those on already. And I mean gloves that go to about here on you. Put your gloves on. If you've got safety goggles, I'm not kidding, put them on. Make sure you got all the vents going. Make sure your t-shirt or whatever old thing you don't care about is underneath the door, and take your scrubber of whatever kind that you've got, your abrasive scrubber, and you are going to take one towel and backtrack. This is where it's sloppy. You're going to take your scrubber and you're going to start scrubbing the door. And you have to put a little bit of elbow grease in it, but you will see that it starts moving around, and it is thick and it is like toxic sludge, because it literally is. So you're going to just do your door. Once you've got your door all scrubbed down and you've got everything loosened and broken up, you're going to take a microfiber cloth or a paper towel. Microfiber is going to soak up a lot more and be better for just cleaning in total. So if you've got some old, nasty microfiber cloths or rags, I would use those because they're going to get ruined. So you're going to want to rub all of that sludge away. And I would have like a grocery sack of some sort where you can just stick all the rags into the grocery sack, and just so you're not putting them on the ground. Once you've got the door all scrubbed down, don't worry about it. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to have streaks, and just get the most of what you can. After you've done that, you're going to want to start on the sides and the back from the top to the bottom, because you're going to want to rub everything down to the bottom belly basin part of the oven. So you're going to rub between because each side of the oven has like little ledges where you put your racks, right? So you're going to want to get your scrubber and get on the top of the ledge, go again, top of the ledge, go again, work your way down. Same with the back. Usually the fan is in the back of the oven. You're going to want to scrub that all down. Once you do, you got everything broken up, take your microfiber cloth, wipe that all off, and then you're going to scrub the bottom basin belly part of the oven. Now, if you have those coils on the bottom where it's usually in a W shape, if it's not hot, I would take a glove with a rag on it so you've got extra protection, and lift it up and rub underneath it, because sometimes those can get in the way. So after you've done that, you've got all the sludge that is just in the center of the oven. Take 2 or 3 rags and just wipe up what you can. Put it in your grocery sack, call it good. Now that you've got everything broken up, cleaned out, you're going to see that there is still a film or a layer on your oven. This is where your degreaser comes in. You're going to take your degreaser. In my case, it's Melomagic. If you want, if you have any questions about it, please let me know. This stuff is amazing. It's kind of like Dawn dish soap, but in a cleaner form. You're going to spray every single surface of your oven, including your door, including the window, including the sides, the back, and the bottom of the oven. You're going to spray it in a very thick layer. Let it sit for 5 minutes. It's going to get the rest of the gunk off of the walls of the oven. You're going to wipe it out with your microfiber cloth or whatever you're using, and then becomes the detailing part. This is where your toothbrush or your whatever you want to use for detailing. I like a toothbrush. Make sure it's not too hot. Spray another thin layer of degreaser cleaner on there, and then just go with your toothbrush and get the spots that you've missed. Because unfortunately with like your sponge or your copper scrubby, you can't get to those hard to reach places. So once you've done that and you've used your toothbrush and you've detailed the areas you want to detail, this is where the glass cleaner comes in. You're going to wipe everything out in excess from your detailing job, and you're going to spray a nice thick layer of, I use the World's Best cleaner. It comes in a can like this, and it's got a blue top, or whatever. Windex is good. And you're just going to spray a nice good layer on there, and you're going to wipe it out with a microfiber cloth. Now, you can do the outside of your oven, no matter if it's stainless steel, white, black, plastic, whatever it is. You clean the outside of the oven after you've done the inside. That's method number 1. Kind of crazy, kind of long. That's what I do. I would say an oven takes me about, it just depends on the mess. I mean, it could be anywhere from 30 to an hour and a half. And it is hard work. It's not fun. Method number 2 is a natural method or a natural approach to cleaning of your oven. This is better for someone who can stay home, give it time, because I can't let things sit as long as they need to sit with this method. It is going to be baking soda, vinegar, lemon juice, and that, which is great because I am more for all natural, and you're not going to smoke yourself out of your house. So to begin the whole process, you're going to take the grates out, and you're going to stick your grates, if they're bad, you can stick them in a bathtub with dryer sheets. The bottom of your bathtub you want to line with either plastic, an old shower curtain, and or old towels, just so all the extra gunk doesn't get stuck to the sides of the bathtub. You're going to fill your bathtub up with nice lukewarm water, and you're going to throw in about 10 dryer sheets into your bathtub water. You're going to set your grates in there, and you're going to let them set overnight. Once you've done so, you can go back with either stainless steel scrubby or that little copper friend of mine and get the excess off in your bathtub. Remove the bath towel and or shower curtain if that's what you used, and your grates are done. Now, as far as the oven goes, your grates are removed, so you're going to take a vacuum now. You have not turned your you're going to turn your vacuum on, but you have not turned your oven on yet. The oven's cold. You haven't done anything. You've just taken your grates out. You're going to vacuum all the excess debris out of your oven. After you've done that, sorry, I've got to look at my notes real quick. Okay, So after you've done that, your racks are clean. You're going to take your bottom rack and you're going to put it back in your oven. On that bottom rack, you're going to take a metal bake dish. Metal. So you could take like a bread pan of some sort or a deep dish that is metal. You have to take a metal bake dish and you're going to put a half cup of vinegar in there and the rest will be water. You're going to turn your oven up to 350. Once it's hit 350, let the water boil and steam for a while. Let it do its job. And then once it's done that, turn the oven off, let it cool off, and you're going to want the oven to still be warm, but at a touchable temperature. So it's not going to burn you, but it's still going to be warm. You can remove your water baking dish out of there. Then you are going to follow up. So what that does is the vinegar acts as kind of like a suffocant cleaner where it breaks up the nastiness that is in your oven. So it kind of does what this does, but with a baking dish and vinegar. This is also going to use more elbow grease. You're going to follow up after you've taken the bake dish out, I would probably take the grate out too, just so you have more accessibility. Is that a word? You have more room to work with. You're going to take a solution of 50% vinegar and 50% water. You can put it in a spray bottle. You're going to spray down the sides. You're going to spray the belly. You're going to spray the door. And you can use either a microfiber cloth if the mess isn't bad, or you can use our little abrasive scrubber cleaning friend. And you're going to work your way around and break everything up. Now, if it's not working, you can make a paste out of lemon juice, baking soda, and vinegar. Now, as far as the paste goes, you want it to be kind of thick, but you want it to not be like cottage cheese thick, if that makes any sense. You kind of have to just work with it and get it to a point that you like. Make the paste in a nice little shallow bowl. Take your scrubber, dip it in the paste, and then use it in the spots that are hard. You're going to wipe out all the stubborn spots with that. Once you're done doing all that, wipe all the excess out with rags, and you can follow it up with glass cleaner again. That's my personal preference. Same thing with the oven. Please wear gloves. Please don't try to touch the surfaces of the oven when they're hot. Kind of just a basic 101 of like street smart. But I need to tell you this anyways. And make sure you have a towel of some kind underneath your oven, just so you're protecting your floor, because the sludge does get between the door and the oven itself, and it's disgusting. Third and final approach to your oven, if you don't want to do A or B, you can try your self-clean. If it's a steam clean oven, you might have some luck. If it's the oven where you've got, sorry, my nose is just so bad. If it's the oven where you've got like the coils on the bottom, I just don't recommend it. It just doesn't work real well. And if it does, prove me wrong, I guess. But if you just have kind of like a nice degreasing cleaner laying around your house, I would kind of go with the same approach. Take the grates out first. Heat your oven to 200, let it cool off, and then spray a spot in your oven. If it just evaporates, it's too hot still. If the liquid stays and it slides down, you're good. You can just go around and spray the entire oven with your degreaser. It's not going to do near as good of a job as these two other methods, but it will still get it done. And then you can follow it up with your scrubby friend and some microfiber cloths. So that is kind of the gist of the oven world. Ovens are rough. Once you've got the inside of your oven done, if you've got caked on spots on your electric cooktop, if you're like me, you can do a ring of baking soda and then follow it up with either hydrogen peroxide or white vinegar and make it film up. It'll bubble up, and let it sit for like 10 to 15 minutes, and then just scrub with a nice soft, you can do like a Norwex Sperry sponge. You can do the little copper friend. You can do, a lot of people like to use the rough side of a sponge and just kind of rub that away. If you're like me, where you don't have time, you can use some of this on your stains. I would just do a really nice thin layer on it. If it's a stainless steel top, do not use this on a stainless steel top. Please don't do it. If it's a black acrylic top, you can use it. And they also have Wyman's cooktop cleaner. If you've got a gas stove, I would remove the grates. If you want to clean your grates, same thing as you would do with the inside of the oven grates, put it in a bathtub with either plastic shower curtain liner or old towels, stick them on the bottom and put them in with dryer sheets and let it sit overnight, and that should do the job. And then for gas stove top, you can take the little heating plates off of the actual gas stove. You need to be careful what you use near a gas stove, because if you get it into the lighter or the pilot light, they won't light back up. So that is pretty much everything. If you guys think of any other things that I missed, or if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I will link my Facebook page in the description. Again, my name is Kaylee Hirth, owner of Here to Help Cleaning, and I hope that was helpful for you guys. We will catch you later. We'll see ya. Bye.